Welcome back to the show here. We are kicking off season 3 of the podcast. I am your host, Kady Romagnolo. And if you are joining me here live on YouTube for the very first time as we transition the show into something pretty exciting, let me know in the comments and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on all of the future magic that's going on here. Welcome to this very different format. And if you've been an avid listener of the show for the past 2 seasons, we were the Moon Magic Podcast and answering really what to do and what not to do in each moon phase. But something interesting kept happening in the background with all of the amazing community that we have. And I was getting the question to say, well, I've heard you talk about this one thing, but it really didn't go too much into details for my particular situation. And I'd get people asking very direct and specific questions. Now, I absolutely love answering these questions because they're really impactful, they're helpful. Oftentimes, the feedback was, wow, this really helped me to move forward in my life and business. So it got me thinking, if one person has that question, likely many more have the same question or will really resonate on the specific details that were coming through. So we have now transitioned into a live and unscripted question and answer segment here on the podcast. We are the Moon Logic Podcast. And I want to share a little bit before we get into our number one question that has been asked over the last year. I want to get into first why Moon Logic? What is this Moon Logic business? Well, I am a spiritual business coach and I never expected to be doing the work that I'm doing now. I was very much so a logical go getter, I was a planner. I had everything in my life decided as to how I was going to achieve success. And at that point in my life, it was going to be as a real estate broker. Now, everything told me in society that it's time to get a job, do the adulting thing that occurs, and figure out, what the heck are you supposed to do with your life, Kady? But I had also always been a dreamer. So I would make all of these detailed plans for all of the things that I was going to do in my life and follow them step by step by step. The problem was I didn't leave room for what my soul was actually calling me to do in this lifetime. I didn't leave room for the magic to occur. So when I started to work the plan and things didn't work out, when I took that hard action step, when I was hustling and grinding, everything was a struggle. And I couldn't figure out why. Why on earth am I doing all of the things that, maybe every other business coach is saying, okay, well, you just got to show up and you've got to put yourself out there and you've got to force yourself to do hard things and you've got to read the sales script. Why was it not working for me? Why was I an anxious mess every single day? The answer was my energy. I didn't actually, at heart, want to do the thing that I had planned to do in my life. Now, my mind had said, yeah, Kady, you can do this. This is something you're interested in. Go to school to be a real estate agent and help families. And, you've got an interest in how owning a home really creates an amazing thing that is to be proud of in life and it creates financial security. I've owned many properties myself and I wanted to share that wisdom. But it only took me so far because it turns out I'm here for a little bit of a different purpose, something that has been calling me for quite some time. And a lot of that has to do with a spiritual awakening that I had very deeply in 2016 to about 2018. It led me on the path to what I do now, which is teaching moon phases and how to particularly use the natural cycles of what we shift through each and every month to your advantage to know what it is to do, what it is to not do, because it may be contradictory to what you really want at heart and creating resistance, but also really getting this logical framework to tell you what's going to come next. It's kind of like the ability to fortune tell. Following moon phases is all about connecting into your personal brand of magic, who you are, what's underneath the shell, the mask that probably past experience, maybe society has told you to put on and to be in life. But Even if that's true, where maybe you've been told to be something and you really enjoy what you've done for a little while, but maybe you're feeling this calling into something else, there's always layers of who we are that are ready to give birth and evolve. So, moon logic represents the moon for me, which is really the subconscious part of who we are. It's a reflection into our deepest desires, but also our deepest fears. What's unknown? What lies beneath? Now, the logic part, well, it's pretty clear. The logical part of who I am still really exists. And many of the time, I've been described as very grounded in my spiritual approach. And I take that as a really great compliment because I truly believe that it is very important to not only walk our magical, spiritual, energetic side in life, to cultivate a really abundant and meaningful experience here, but experience here is also the key word. We are living and walking and awaking in a 3D world. And there's parameters to how our 3D world works. There's society, there is framework, there's time, there is the way business and sales is done. And so here we are with Moon Logic, helping you craft the magic of your own business, helping you lean into what your heart led passion project is, and also getting real super grounded and logical with how it all connects in together so that you can grow a business that you love and learn to navigate by moon phases. So, today we are talking about what to do when you're following that heart, when you're leaning into your calling, and maybe you've created an amazing heart led business. It's a holistic business, and you're doing great things to help people in the world. But for whatever reason, there's some resistance that is showing up, and it's not bringing in the financial abundance that you are seeking, that safety and security that we all need in this 3D experience. What happens when at some point you feel like you need to get a job? I think as an entrepreneur, we've probably all been there, whether it's for a moment or for a day or for a long stretch of time where something feels like it's not working. What is it that creates resistance to the thing not working? So I had this amazing question come through many times, and specifically I want to speak actually to Stacy today, who posed this question in a brilliant way where it was, what if I need to take a full-time job so that I can get back on my feet? Is it going to block my holistic business? Now, there's some logical reasons that were discussed as to why the business is not necessarily taking off, but the whole other side to the energy here is where I want to go into as well. So, right offhand, I want to get like straight into the answer and then go into the details and unpack the why for you. But the answer to this, in short, is no. So, taking a full time job in order to meet your financial security needs in the meantime is not going to block your side hustle. It's not going to block your energy towards creating the thing that you actually really want. But there's some caveats to this, okay? So the reason why you're probably having that sense and feeling is because really, legitimately, things are not coming in and we need to pay the bills. We need to be comfortable as well so that we can get into that flow and that good feeling state in order to create and help others. So when you're not in that state, when it feels constricting, when it feels like anxiety is happening because what if, and that really negative aspect around what if everything goes wrong starts to really consume and take over our thoughts. It becomes nearly impossible to start attracting abundance into your side hustle, into your energy work, into your holistic work, into that thing that you're really passionate about doing. Now, here's the thing, taking that job does not have to mean that you have now said no to what it is you really want to do. What it can signal instead is that it's allowing for you to have your needs met and also open up to new ways of doing things. The moment that you say yes to something, it always allows for something else to happen. It's a new timeline that has now all of a sudden been activated. And on that new timeline, there may be resources, opportunities, people to connect with, things to learn that you didn't know that you needed in order for the passion project to really take hold in your life. So, when we're feeling constricted, the best thing to do is to actually take our mind, our thoughts, our energy, our beliefs off of the thing that's not working. Now, most of the time in society, people tell us, I've had this advice before that totally didn't work, was to dig my heels in and to make sure that I'm showing up and just work through it, fake it till you make it. Was kind of a dangerous thing for me because the longer I faked doing and being something that I wasn't naturally at heart, the more anxiety happened. And the more anxiety that I had, the less that I was able to do the thing that I actually really loved. I couldn't get into that resonance. So there's a technique that I like to take clients through when this very scenario shows up, when it feels like I've got to take some sort of work. Maybe it's a full time job, maybe it's contract work, maybe it's part time work, maybe it is whatever it is that's coming as a thought in the moment. That thought is also presenting for a reason. It might be trying to guide you towards something that you needed. So, the first thing that I like to suggest is mapping across. So, this is where that job that you're thinking about getting, or maybe you've already said yes to and you're wondering, oh goodness, what am I doing here again? What is your skill set in that particular job? Now, I want you to think logically here, right? What is the thing that you're showing up and doing each day? What is it that you've been hired to do? And get specific, write this down and start looking at what is it that I do really well here that I can now use and map over into my business, into the thing that I really want to do. So, an example for me here would be as a busy real estate broker in my former years, realizing that I used to always say, if I can just show up, if I can just get the appointment with the client face to face, I can convert them. I can get them as a client. Like I knew it. I had this feeling. Whereas if I had to sit on the phone and do kind of the old traditional way of selling and doing the cold calling, yeah, that felt so icky in my energy. The cold calling felt like I was dying. Like each and every time I had to pick up the phone, the sound of the ringing sent me into a tizzy. It actually created this whole like, I just need to get through this call. And so when you just got to get through a call, you're not really focusing on connecting to the person, hearing what the, thing is that they need, how you're going to help them. And sales is always about how you're going to help somebody. So instead, I'd realize, okay, I'm less nervous for whatever reason when I show up in person. When I get to have that dialogue and that space between, it was like that physical energy of being in someone's presence was easier for me to connect to. So therefore, I would drive like way out of my way. I would have somebody that would say, "Hey, like I want to see this property at this time." I'd be like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool. Like let's do it." Because I had never had a chance to actually meet that person in person yet. And the act of being there made me feel like I'm going to be able to make that connection and grow this into something further, create a sale out of it. So now, when I was in the position to do less sales in real estate and more into what I really love, which is teaching all about moon phases, helping spiritual entrepreneurs grow their mission, their purpose, step into their passion, and make money while doing it, I started to realize, okay, I've got some resistance in the ways that I'm going to do things here, but I need to sort of get myself out there. And I thought back to what are the things that I can do as I'm still working my real estate career that I can pull into my business, my heart, the things that I really want to do. How can I do them when I know they're successful in this other job? How can I do that in a way that's congruent in this work that I want to bring into the world? So, cue being on camera. Who knew? Who knew the shy girl from a rough neighborhood would love being on camera? The reason why is because I love the face to face. And I feel like, between you and as I'm looking into the camera, I envision all of y'all out there. I get myself into that state where we're in the room together, where I'm inviting you into my space here. Maybe you're sitting on the couch beside me here. I'm in the presence of you and you're in the presence of me. And for whatever reason, that is naturally something that I enjoy, that I do well, that works well in my current line of work. Now, I say work, but My goodness, I feel like I don't have a job. I love being here with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope that answers your question because you're going to sort of systematically pull out the things that you're really good at, the reason why you were hired, why you're taking that job, why somebody is paying you, and take that energy by doing the action in the job that you actually want to do in the business that you're crafting that is maybe having some resistance. The action in doing that combined with the energy of it will start to open up new ways of doing things in your business. So here's the big key about the answer being no, that it's not going to block your energy. The big key here is that you don't stop. You don't stop doing what your heart is calling you to do. There may be a bit of a pause while you regroup and maybe heal some of the limiting beliefs that are going on mentally around why something isn't working. But if it's on your heart, it's calling you for a reason. There may be adjustments required. So maybe that means, okay, taking a breather, getting yourself into a state that is anchoring your energy into safety and security. We are, especially right now, if you're watching this while we are live streaming, we are sitting in our full moon week. And the full moon phase is all about coming to a climax of energy and releasing what is getting in the way of what you've been taking action on. So, this particular full moon comes in with a pairing of Cancer. And all this past week, we've been working on ways where safety and security really wants to show up in your life. So, this may be very congruent for you right now. You might be facing the same challenge. Know that it's happening collectively for a reason as we are grounding in ways of feeling safe and secure as a whole. So, the more that you can do that for yourself, the more that that transfers into your business, the more that you are going to attract who it is that you're meant to work with or what it is that you're meant to put out into the world. So, as we are shifting into our next phase here that's coming up, it is all about the adjustments. And if you really want to get a good sense about where is this energy presenting, what the heck is this girl talking about phases and, full moon phase? I thought the full moon was just on one day. Yeah, you're a smart cookie. And I love that you are being inquisitive right now because, yes, our energy of each moon phase, it presents essentially on one particular day. But the logical part of us, that neurology, that part that is really connected into the brain and how we live in society in this 3D world, it needs time to catch up with the energy. Your physical needs time. So I always encourage, and the very unique thing that we do at Moon Logic is to encourage all of our clients to consistently stay with the energy of that phase for the entire week. It's generally 5 to 7 days until we shift again. So that way you can catch up to what's going on. You can feel and get into the emotions and get into the senses, the physical things that need to happen with that energy. It allows for so much amplification of progress to actually occur. So, we're going to be shifting on the 14th into our third quarter phase. And if you want to understand this a little bit more, I have a free moon calendar that you can grab. Go ahead and check the description. There's a link in there for you that's going to explain what to do with your moon calendar, and you're going to get it free every single month. This is a custom downloadable piece that you are able to use. So you can even save it as a screensaver. You can print it and put it on your wall. I get people who send me pictures all the time of the printout of the calendar right up there on the vision boards. I love it so much. So get creative, and it's going to give you some prompts, some action steps to take around the energy that it is presenting that week, and also mantras to help you move along. So go ahead and check that out. Remember to subscribe to the channel here and go ahead and hit notifications so that you get all of the live stream updates and details. And if you are looking for more information on moon phases and what to do, go ahead and fill out our question form. I am answering all of your questions here live and unscripted. We're getting into the details. Be as specific as you feel you need to. You do not have to give your full name. You can do this anonymously. I'm big with alter egos. So if you have an alter ego that you want to use as your name that you're presenting, then absolutely go ahead and do that. Drop your questions into our question form. You will find that in the description link here. And I'm wishing you all an amazing Tuesday afternoon. Thank you again for being here. And I'll see you all next week. Tune in live.